everyone. Thank you guys for coming today. We are very, very close to finally getting to be able to play. We're excited that our exhibition game is coming up quickly. We're tired of playing against each other. We're tired of playing against our practice team. We're a little beat up, banged up. So we're really, really, really looking forward to putting the finishing touches on some things and getting it started.
All right, we'll take our first question from Cora.
Obviously, big news yesterday with losing Kyle for the season with Achilles tear. Just what are you losing from not having her on the court, but what also value could she still bring to you guys from the sidelines?
Yeah, it really, as a coach, you have these really tough moments, and those moments are sometimes when it's your final game and you have to go address your team, and you have a lot of seniors, or when you have a senior that has an injury and you can't help it. You feel really helpless as a coach, and so that one really broke my heart for her because she was getting so much better and she was working so hard, and she's such a valuable person on this team. And so we're going to lose a lot. We're going to lose a downhill driver. We're going to lose somebody who would have the ball in their hands. We're probably going to lose our top defender, somebody who plays incredibly hard, who would go get rebounds. She kind of sets the blue collar culture that we want. So it's a big missing piece for us. I think she's a phenomenal human being, and just by being in the gym, she's still in great spirits. She makes people laugh. She still leads. She still talks. The only good thing to come out of this is we get her for another year, and I get to be around her for one more year.
We'll go next to Casey, and if everyone would, please identify yourself and your affiliation to help coach out a little bit. Thank you.
Casey, KWAT. This team in the past hasn't had kind of a conference schedule to ease into the season. They've kind of played a little bit more tough. It's a little bit more relaxed this year. What kind of benefits do you think that's going to allow them to have, and for you to kind of ease into gameplay with this team?
I think the way we play is definitely, it takes a long time. It takes a couple months to figure out how to play quickly, how to get used to shooting quick shots, how to transition on defense. And you can only practice it so much, but I think usually the teams I've had in the past struggle for the first couple months. That being said, I still think we play 10 top 25 teams, so we don't have an easy schedule. We have a really nice mix of in-state competition as well. So I think we still have our work cut out for us.
Go next to Emily Wright.
Emily Wright Cochran, WBAR. In Kai's Instagram post yesterday, she said, obviously this is devastating news, but she's excited to be a vocal leader on the sidelines. To see her be so positive about such a injury that she's going through, what does that say about her character?
It says a lot, and I know she was heartbroken on the day it happened. We talked about it. I talked to her mom about it, that God has a plan that we don't really understand right now and we can't see. So the three of us kind of talked on a FaceTime about that. And just who she is as a person, is she's gonna come, she's gonna make jokes, she's gonna make people laugh. She's always gonna bring something positive to the table. That's just who she is.
We'll go next to Maria.
Maria Cornelius, 247 Sports, Tennessee. I went to vote yesterday, and the poll worker looks at my ID and says, "Hey, you're that woman that covers the Lady Vols. What do you think about the team? I'm really excited." I've never had that happen anywhere I go. How have you been able to generate so much buzz so quickly?
I think that probably has way more to do with you guys than it does me. But I appreciate that. I appreciate the coverage. I appreciate all of you guys getting us out there. Our team is working incredibly hard. And it's just been a whirlwind of a few months, but I know that there's some excitement and there's some buzz.
We'll go next to Ryan.
Ryan Sylvia, ballreport.com. Just what are some of the final touches you're kind of harping on right now before the season? What are the things you want to see cleaned up before you take the court?
Just little details, putting some more sets in, some more baseline out of bounds plays in, cleaning some things up that we probably will see but we haven't seen. So we've been really spending a lot of time laying the foundation of pace on defense and offense, but now we just need to get into the find the little details of things.
Go next to Rick in the back.
Hey Coach, Rick Russo, WVLT. Coach, what are you looking to see specifically from your team initially here as you get going, actually a week from tonight, I guess, against Arsenal?
Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. I promise you, it's not gonna be pretty. So we wanna work hard, we wanna play hard, we wanna force the pace, we wanna be all over the floor. We wanna be a team that somebody hates to play, but we're still gonna make a lot of mistakes, we're gonna foul a lot, we're gonna turn the ball over a lot. It's still gonna be pretty raw on that end.
Hey Charlotte, full disclosure, what makes Jewel Spears such a great fit to this team, and how have you seen her progress these last couple of months?
She's remarkable. She can score at all three levels. She's a phenomenal leader. Will put people in the right spot. She's an absolute gamer. She can shoot the three off the bounce. She can shoot it deep. She can shoot it off the catch. And And those are the players I really like to have, especially people that are just great teammates. And I think that's who she is. She comes in every day with a great mindset of not only getting better herself, but bringing people around her. And when you get to this, making people around her better, and when you get to this point in the season, I mean, we've been going for a long time, and so they're kind of just dreading it. And she does a really good job of making sure everyone is focused.
Go, Jack.
Jack Church, the Daily Beacon. Coach, what have you learned from, as you step into this program, from Tess, from Sarah, from Kaya, those veteran players who have played all 4 years here?
Yeah, I think that they just, I don't know what I've learned as in what you mean.
Just in terms of the expectations around.
Yeah, I think that they have done a great job of explaining what they want, what their goals are, of kind of how they want to be the team that people hate to play, how they have a chip on their shoulder, they have something to prove, they want to get Tennessee back to where it used to be. I think that that is something that's in our daily conversations because of them, and they were very, very vocal and adamant about that from day one.
We'll go to Casey, back right.
Kanaya Boyd is the youngest on this team. She's also the only one who really hasn't been under any other system in terms of not being able to practice when she did get here early last year. Just what are some of the biggest benefits and things that excite you the most about being able to sculpt her into your system from the ground up from the beginning of her collegiate career?
Yeah, I don't think there's any hiding the fact that we work really hard and we do a lot of running in this program. I think that's pretty much well known, and so everyone gives her a hard time. Oh, you have to do this for 3 more years, but we love it because we tell her like, hey, she's going to be a beast by the end of it. She's getting better and better by the day. She was truly made to play this way. She can press, she can score downhill. I think she's going to have a bright future because I think she's going to have a really good year, and so I am really excited to see what she does by the time she's a senior.
Cora.
Cora Hall, Knox News Sentinel. Have people started to kind of separate themselves in terms of who might, vie for a starting spot, and what's kind of your focus when you're thinking about who you want to start?
Yeah, we do starters a little bit differently, and so a lot of people don't like it. But we're going to do it based on productivity, and so whatever your productivity was the last game, that's who's going to start the next game. So we told our teams that, I think maybe Monday, that's how we're going to do it. And I've had some teams in the past where the same people start every game because you always have the same production, and then you have some teams that it's mixed up every game. So we don't really have to fool with starting lineups a lot. It's earned every single game.
Maria, and then Caleb.
Coach, you mentioned you're tired of playing each other, and I know it's limited what coaches say about these close scrimmages, and obviously Rick Barnes talked about Davidson. Did y'all get an opportunity to do that this year, or was it just internal?
We have one coming up Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Caleb Jar with the Daily Times. Coach, you've mentioned expectations that it won't look pretty at the beginning. How do you get that message across to the team that when those growing pains happen to kind of keep your confidence up, keep your morale up?
We've talked about it a lot, and that how you're playing right now, you're going to be significantly better in January. And they just have to trust that I've seen it enough to know, and they can go back and they can look at stats. There's proof there of former players who maybe didn't have the best non-conference schedule, but by the time we got into conference, they were playing their best. Generally, our numbers will go up. In the past, I don't know that will be the same going into SEC play, but they will get better. They will get more confident. They will get more comfortable.
Go next page in the back.
When you get have a chance to talk about Ruby Whitehorn, what should we know about Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby is a phenomenal leader as well, especially for somebody that's coming in new. And so I think that's something that's really special about this team is we have people that have been here for a while, and then you have some people that are new, and I think they blend very, very well. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't know who was new and who has been here. So from the day Ruby got here, she's done a really good job of holding people accountable, being the first, the 50-50 balls on the floor, playing hard, talking. She has a bright future. I think she is going to be one of those ones we just talked about that may start off a little slow, and then you're going to see her take off.
Cora, and then Casey.
I'm curious how you balanced, the focus on the presses, right? Because you usually went 3 to 4. That's obviously a lot to learn, but how do you kind of balance that with also getting that half-court defense in for games where maybe the presses aren't working, or teams are kind of figuring out, and it's just not clicking that night. Just how do you kind of balance that, in the preseason and prepare for those games?
Yeah, you break it up in your practice plan of doing a segment of full court and then a segment of half court, and then as you get into specific games, like right now, we're going to start working on actions that we haven't seen in the half court because if you're playing against yourselves or guys, you're only seeing kind of the same thing. So doing more of like a 4-out 1-in, because we will see more of a traditional post player back to the basket, working on all of those things. And that's what we're putting in this week, and we'll continue to do week by week based on who we play.
Casey.
You mentioned how it takes a little bit of time for your system to kind of be implemented at a higher level while you guys go through that non-conference schedule. Based on the past and based on where this team is now, do you have maybe an estimate of when we might be able to see that system kind of fully in play, or is it just kind of a game-by-game situation, see how it progresses?
It usually depends on each team, but in the past, November is horrendous, and December is a little bit better, and then you kind of hit your stride and you get more comfortable going into it.
Go next to Caleb and then Ryan.
Assistant coach Gabe, what has he brought this offseason with his energy? What made you want to bring him into this program?
He's a phenomenal recruiter. He's a very good on-the-floor coach. He's loud, significantly louder than me. So that helps when you have somebody that's high energy, can back up what you say with a louder voice, all of those things. He brings a lot to the table. He's been on the road recruiting a lot. We can definitely feel the days that he's missing.
With Gabe and Roman, do you feel like there's an impact because they have an SEC background, because they've coached at this level? Like, how has that helped you in your transition?
Absolutely, it's why they're here, because I definitely knew that I had blind spots, and I needed people around me that didn't, and they've done a really good job on the recruiting trail of knowing the players that I didn't know when I first got here, and knowing the SEC, and we're talking about scouts and dividing it up, and personnel and play style. They're huge on all of that.
Go next to Maria and then Cora.
Coach, the best way to describe the SEC has always been it is a league for grown women. It is the toughest basketball conference, top to bottom, in the country. You have size to counter some of these big teams, of course, with Jillian Hollingshead and Z Spearman. Just how critical are those two going to be? I know we talk a lot about the guards, but how critical are they going to be for Tennessee going forward into the SEC?
They're going to be huge, and I'm excited to see what they do, because they've been playing as guards this whole time, but as we get into SEC play, they're going to be down there banging around under the basket. And so we need to be able to rely on them and trust them to do that. But I think they're two phenomenal bigs of what we like to do on the offensive end, and again, we would be toast without them trying to protect the rim and the paint.
Cora.
I know Jillian Hollingshead was not able to go Friday, and Marcus Madness due to concussion. Just do you have an update on her, and is there any other injuries the team is dealing with right now going into the season?
Yeah, we are a little banged up, and so Kaya's was a heartbreaker. Jill's returning this week, so she's still in her concussion protocol, but she's limited. She can shoot. She's still not full contact yet. And then we have a few more that are banged up, but they should be back hopefully by the exhibition.
Go to first row.
Alex Sargis from the Daily Beat. Coach, you've been here now for a few months, and what are some of the ways that you've seen your team change and develop just as time has gone on and you've been here?
I think that they are getting more comfortable being uncomfortable, which is huge. It is something I always wanted out of our teams. We push them pretty hard every day, and so they're just understanding that that's part of it. That's what it takes, and so that is big. They're coming into their own roles, which is something that also takes time in this style of play. When you take people, when traditional basketball puts you in a box, you're a four, you're a driver, you're a shooter, and we're trying to get you out of that box, and we're trying to put you to do something that you haven't been doing, and we try to make you uncomfortable. Now is the time where we try to really harness your roles, right? What are you good at? What are you going to be doing? And I've seen them come into their roles more and more the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it's made our team better.
Casey.
At SEC Media Days, you mentioned how pivotal Sarah Puckett and Jill Spear have been in this transition. Just what has impressed you the most about each of their leadership?
I think how consistent their leadership is, how they lead from a genuine place. They don't lead and bark at their teammates. They just lead as great people who have earned the right to talk to their teammates, and they want what's best. They have the team's ear, and they can bark it if they need to, or they can just say it and everyone will listen. And it's very, very difficult when you have a head coaching change to lead, because nobody knows what to expect. Nobody knows what the standard is. Nobody knows what's going to make me mad or what's not going to make me mad. And for them to be able to step up and do that right away says a lot about them.
Take one final question from Paige.
You mentioned earlier that, Jillian Hollingshead was one of the players that surprised you when you first got here. Has there been another player that's developed that way, that whether it's a surprise or it changes the way that you think you'll utilize them this season?
Yeah, I think in the past month, Z Spearman has gotten tremendously better, which is big for us. Kanaya Boyd is another one. Because she sat out an entire year, she started off a little rough, and she's really taken off. And so hers will be more of a confidence thing of just letting her do more with the ball, pouring into her a little bit on that end. But those two are the first that come to mind.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.